We're joined by a man now who has won 9 major trophies with the Gunners. It's former Arsenal and England goalkeeper David Seaman. How you doing, David?
Good morning, David.
Morning, Nat. Morning, Andy. You all right?
Yeah,
all good,
we're
pal,
all right. How
you.
are you?
I'm happier. Especially yesterday. It was a great game to watch. Like what you were saying earlier on, it's a relief that Arsenal have actually beaten Man City now.
And how significant, David, is that for a group of players when you can't seem to get over the line against a particular team, particularly one of your biggest rivals, that when you finally do that, what is the significance of that?
I think it's massive, Andy, because when you look at last season as well, a lot of people talk about Arsenal throwing it away, but Arsenal players and Arsenal fans knew that Man City were going to be good. You know how good they are, but then to get one over them really this early in the season is a great confidence boost.
There will be some, of course, that will say the Community Shield is in no way a clear sign of how a season will pan out. In fact, I think it's only one team in the last 11 years that have won both the Community Shield and the Premier League, and that was Manchester City back in the 2018-19 season, David. But like you say, it's more just that psychological edge, perhaps, that it gives Arsenal, knowing that they really did go toe-to-toe with City and came out the victor.
Yeah, and it means a lot to everyone. I know people say, it's a friendly, but it ain't. You look at the passion that both managers were showing on the touchline.
Yeah. They were going for it, weren't they? Yeah.
I know, and then the way that Arsenal celebrated as well. They were desperate to beat Man City, and that showed, and it gives them great belief going into this season. And, to start like that, it's just been, for me, it's been a great, last season was fantastic. As much as we didn't win it, it was still a massive improvement, and I felt that we were like way ahead of schedule. And then to start this season already with a trophy to have on the team photo is brilliant.
David, how would you feel if you're Aaron Ramsdale, you're the number one, but you're hearing these rumours that the club might be investing 40 million quid in another very, very, very good goalkeeper? What does that? How does he take that one?
The only way I can compare this, Andy, is when Arsenal signed Richard Wright when I was the number one.
Okay.
They paid a lot of money for him. Well, I say a lot. It was 6 million quid, which doesn't sound much these. But honestly, it made me a better goalkeeper, and I'm sure that that's what will happen with Aaron. You get a chance to show in training what you can do and what sort of standards you've got to get to, and I'm sure that that's what Aaron will do. But I mean, no doubt that Aaron will take this competition on, and like I say, he'll show what he can do, and it would definitely make him a better goalkeeper.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, they have been linked with David Raya now, and I was speaking with Andy earlier on. David Raya knows the goalkeeping coach at Arsenal because he was the previous goalkeeping coach at Brentford, so you can kind of see why there's this connection now with Raya and Arsenal. I mean, what do you think of David Raya as a goalkeeper? Is he someone that you can see will obviously test Aaron Ramsdale for that number one role, and can you see him going forward as a potential Arsenal number one?
I don't know about the number one. He's still got a lot to prove. Aaron's been there and done it now. So he's also got a relationship with the Iñaki, who's a goalkeeping coach. So that cancels that out a little bit. And then it's just down to ability and confidence. But it's strange because I had Peter Schmeichel on my podcast last season. And we were talking about number twos and how number twos made me feel better, as in goalkeeping number twos.
What other number twos are we talking about?
I was like, what am I saying?
Glad you clarified.
I know, he brought the best out of me, but Peter Schmeichel, I asked Peter Schmeichel that question. He was like, no, I didn't like having a good number two. He said, because if I got injured or I didn't have any form, I didn't want the pressure of knowing that I might get dropped. So different mentalities for different goalkeepers. But, I know Aaron quite well, and I know what he's been through. And I heard you talking about, that a lot, when he first came, that a lot of people weren't too sure about him. And Andy, you said he hit the ball out of their net a lot, But in games where he was fighting relegation, and these were massive pressure games, and that's something that as a goalkeeper,
very true.
And every time he got relegated, he always got player of the season, So he's got all that experience to call upon, and like I say, I'm sure it'll make him a much better goalkeeper, and he'll keep him on his toes.
Do you think as well, with the added competition now of the Champions League for Arsenal, that maybe we might see Mikel Arteta pick a goalkeeper for certain competitions, stick with that, and Premier League goalkeeper, for example?
Yeah, and like what Pep does as well, like with the FA Cup and, things like that. That situation always puzzled me, especially in the Champions League, that you change your goalkeeper. I know Arsenal used to do it, but, I always wanted Arsenal to put their best and strongest team out. And sometimes when you pick your number 2 goalkeeper, he sends out different signals. But, if he does sign, which it does look like he's going to sign, he'll be welcome to the club, obviously. And he'd be a great addition because he's got Premier League experience. And that, what he's like. He's a very good goalkeeper. But
I'm sad to see him go, I have to say. But we knew it was happening, so we've kind of got used to it.
Exactly, but there's already a very, very good goalkeeper at Arsenal.
Yeah. David, what did you make of the other new boys, Timber and Declan Rice and Havertz? What did you think? What have they given to the team?
They've given great experience to the team, and it's a positive sign, Andy. When you're signing players like that. Timber, I thought, was brilliant. Declan had his normal game, where you don't see him much, but he covers the ground. He puts in a lot of work. And then with Havertz, he had his 2 chances and didn't, the goalkeeper made decent saves. So he was in there and thereabouts. I was impressed with all 3, as I was with the team. There was parts of that game where City were on top, but then it didn't faze Arsenal. They carried on. True.
Yeah, they kept coming back, didn't they?
I know, that's what I've noticed about this team. They don't panic anymore. A couple of seasons ago, they would have gone 1-0 down at home and really panicked. But no, they just carry on. They keep playing there. They know what they've got to do. They play the system, and hopefully this season is going to work right to the end.
David, I'm sure you heard and saw Pep Guardiola's reaction post-match where he talked about the added-on time, and obviously Arsenal's equaliser came with, 11 minutes gone past the 90. What do you make of this decision then to add on such significant amount of time? I know I was chatting to Andy earlier and he was like, I'm pretty pleased I don't have to play anymore because it's really lengthening the game. How do you feel about it? And also the fact that there's talk of clamping down on time wasting, so we're going to have to see goalkeepers rolling out the ball quicker than what they've been doing before.
Yeah, I love that. I think, you've got to get rid of the time wasting. You've got to you've got to stop people feigning injury. And obviously somebody else is watching this, and then they're clocking it all up, and then obviously the referee will get a signal, I would imagine, to add on that time. And it's what it is. It's a new rule. As in the new rule about players kicking the ball away. Players were still getting caught with it yesterday. So it's something that I'm happy with. And even though it was 8 minutes and then plus the added time, with the 2 head injuries, I've not got a problem with that at all.
Yeah, all right.
Totally agree with that.
Sounds as though you're quite confident for the new season, David.
I'm a lot happier. I'm still not quite used to seeing Leeds in the Championship yet, but hey, here we go.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.